the second week in February and discuss how to integrate our system here.
I know Robinson does it very easy. What they've done is they set up a camera and they record the meetings, and all you have to do is go over and turn it on, and they put a little pen drive in and it records it, and then they stick the pen drive into the computer and you download it onto your website so that all the meetings can be accessed by the residents later on. You can look at it a day or two later or a month later and review that meeting and look at what
I
you
thought
want.
this was going to be free.
What do you mean free? I don't know anybody said it was going to be free.
Well, you talked about it several months ago.
I don't ever remember saying free. Last month I said we wanted to look into it.
I know Dawn and Peters, there's just a switch on the wall they turn
So
on.
I just wanted to look into it, and Dawn, I think maybe we authorize to spend up to $1,000 if you can install, because I don't think it'll cost anywhere near that. If you can get it
Somebody
installed.
from the audience, I think she wants to offer.
You better have more than just one camera, because I'll tell you what, with the size of that board and as far apart you set, one isolated person's going to be on that camera the whole while, unless you have a revolving camera. Or else have somebody back here and keep moving it every time somebody talks.
And we might have to, well, that's where we have to have an expert come in. And
That's right.
And
That's right.
And if there's a possibility, there's...
You got to remember, Robinson's room's only about not even a quarter of this room, and they're sitting on top of one another, and they got that camera right on all the
And it
supervisors.
goes down from the end on it.
Yes, sir, I've been there.
Even Peters, their township building's not much bigger. I mean, it's much smaller than this one.
I'd like to be able to move forward on it, Don, if we can. I'd like to make a motion that we consider up to $1,000 for this camera, if we can get it put in.
It's good to trust yourself
I oughta-
on the camera, they'll see us.
I'll still record.
I can't remember his first
Yeah,
name.
because you'll probably lose it.
Campbell, and he was looking to do an internship in our township, media internship.
His mother called, his mom called.
But I wasn't quite sure what she wanted to do. She was talking about intern positions, and I just,
Is it with the...
it's more than we,
There's a senior.
he's in college.
Here,
Yeah.
and he was interested in an internship with media. And doing, recording meetings.
The others,
I understood it was
the others one is,
That's what I'm at, that's my only
That was the basis of our conversation. But I kept her number and told her I'd call her back. So
I'm sorry, I couldn't keep my mouth
try to see
shut.
if he'll integrate with our meeting, or if there's picture types to integrate.
Can I make a motion that we could spend up to $1,000 by the next meeting, if we can work something out with this to get it done?
well, if we could have done through this, maybe that's something we ought to consider first, to hold off on it and see what happens.
We'll contact them and Dawn and see what happens, whatever works out best.
And you know, Mr. Chairman, just to add one more thought to that, because occasionally I practiced up north in different counties. I know Clarion and some of the other ones use the local colleges. They come in and do, it's part of their classroom, that they do all the videography for the municipalities.
Over in Peters Township, John, what they have is their high school comes in and does their taping of theirs. They actually have made a deal with Comcast that they put it on their local access to. And maybe that's something we can look forward to down the road, getting our high school students to want to do that also.
They may have.
Well, I think that this is what he was talking about.
Let's see if we can work on getting something done for that. And the next thing I'd like to talk about is those cabinets out there that were donated by M&M. Actually, two of them are for the township here. And what they were considering, what they talked about to me about was the fact that they wanted us to be able to raffle them off to raise money, whether we do it through the Fall Festival or a point up to the Fall Festival. So, Teresa, you already said that if we wanted to go ahead and raffle tickets, that you would collect it if people come in while they're looking at them. And I just want to know what the board input feels about it.
The only input I have is, I'm not against it. The only problem that I saw was he donated cabinets last year, and I think that there, do you remember, Teresa, it seems like it was only $70. It was the
It was the one large cabinet that was done, that they had at the Fall Festival. They didn't get that much on it. So I can't remember offhand how much it was. She left.
Well, there's two of them out there for us, okay? And that's what I'm asking, is that do we want to just have raffle tickets until the fall festival and then continue into the fall festival with it and give it away at that point? What does the board feel? I mean, that's what their suggestion was, but we can do what we want with them. What M&M Cabinet said is that they would stain them to any color, whoever would win it in a raffle or whatever. They would stain it oak or dark or wood or whatever you felt like. But it was just a donation to us, so I'm trying to see if we could come up with some way that we could give direction to go ahead and do this. Do we get our own tickets and start letting raffle tickets sell, or how much do we sell them for? What does the board think? Bob, do you have any suggestions?
Only thing that if we're gonna hold them out there for the fall festival, it's a long time. They're gonna just sit out there.
Does the board want to think about it for another month and then come up with something next month and try to put some input into what we feel we want to do with them? All right, then we'll table that till next month. The last thing I got tonight that I want to talk about is the DEP gave us an email, Dawn sent it out to us, asking for comments on the Hahn Road A&P treatment plant. And I've talked with Dawn about that. Dawn, you can explain it. Basically, I think it's just a renewal of the permit. I don't think there's going to be any more traffic or any different hours of operations or anything. Go ahead.
It's just a name change. I believe it's a spin-off of Consol's parent company to another division of Consol. It's the name change only, it said.
I didn't get to read it because I've been too busy this week. But what I did see is that they're willing to come to an informational meeting for any residents, especially those in the vicinity, and maybe that's a good idea.
One of the things, the reason why I brought it up tonight, because there was a 30-day comment from the supervisors, if we had any
They
comments.
sent 2 letters saying that, one at the beginning of January and then one at the end.
But I was just saying, if anybody had comments tonight, let's go ahead and get them to, let them know to Dawn, and we can go ahead and write them up then, okay? If there's any comments.
I would say let them come for an informational meeting.
Right. How about if I write back and just suggest just that?
And then
We'd like to have an
and then
informant.
notify the residents
Okay.
along on the road.
Okay.
Okay, I do want to go back and have a meeting back, an executive board meeting for a minute, and get some legal advice for the board. Is there any other?
What's the subject?
It's just, I want to get the legal advice right now from the board. We'll talk about it back there.
They did announce what the subject is.
Did John take off from the left, because he was the one that was
Judge
talking
Lodge
about
was
it?
talking to, see about that?
John, we wanted to go back and have executive session, what I talked to you about before, having some legal advice given to us. So,
We said
did
we
you want to say?
tell us the subject.
There was,
It's,
one was an issue about recent events with the Cecil police, one of the supervisors.
okay.
And the other one was,
I'm not sure what the other one was. I remember you mentioned it earlier.
you know what, I think it was on my solicitor's report, one litigation, what matters.
Durban.
Oh, that's what it was, and I told Linda, we may discuss that in executive session, but some of that we discussed on.
What's that?
So, let's go back for just a few minutes and talk.
Hey, Andy, after this here, can I ask John a question?
You want to ask me before?
Yeah, after we can hold on for 1 minute, you go ahead and do it, then we'll go back.
The FSA, just the thing that I was addressing before,
Yes.
you heard Dawn's position on it. What is the right legal position on that? Administration, supervisors versus union?
Well, I understand what Dawn said in terms of, but I haven't looked at our policy that I remember. I'm sure we get probably a better rate the more people that are in it. And because we've committed through the collective bargaining agreement through, well, I don't know if it's CBA, how many of our, is Public Works in the same thing, Dawn, or, yeah. And that we guaranteed that. I don't know when we did that, if everybody got in on that plan.
I'm not talking about the folks I'm talking about, he said discrimination. I mean, we can't just arbitrarily start throwing out terms like hit before, it's
What?
by non-discrimination.
Well, no, I think the discrimination, and I don't know the answer to your question, but I think what Dawn was suggesting is we can't treat employees differently, and if they already have a program, but we typically have one, through this building anyway, one health insurance that we offer.
Yeah, we're not talking health insurance, we're talking HSA, FSA.
What, you know, and you probably know better than I do because I haven't looked at it, but, and I understand there's a savings, because I think Dave even told me before about the different savings that are possibilities out there. And I think the only time we could do that, and we may be putting ourselves in a position to do that, is when the next CBA comes open, that we have to discuss with the collective bargaining unit, because they really control the fate of a lot of the other employees in the town. Unless we can, and I don't know the answer, if we can break that up. I think it may cost more money to have less participants in two different pots, but that's outside of my world.
I mean, the way I figure is that in-house, like $27,000 a year, that's if nobody spends anything.
Yeah, and I know, I talked to Dawn some months ago, and I know, Dave, you actually brought me up to speed on some of how that works. But I haven't talked to our health providers. The only thing I could suggest, once he gets you that information, either Dawn or I, or maybe they can even come here and explain what's good and what's bad. And I can't speak to it. I know the health world is its own little world, and you two know more than I do even.
I don't know if it makes a difference, Mr. Beatty, or not, but due to Obamacare, the plan that the current the township has now will no longer exist in July. So a plan will have to be changed before July 1st.
Which means another $3,000 deductible.
That's what I was told by our broker, right? Because HSAs, I believe, are being phased out. Highmark is no longer offering them.
Do we shop brokers like we talked about last time?
No, because there's no difference with product, which broker you go with. It's service that they can provide after, right? Matter of fact, if I were to go directly to UPMC, now Highmark does not allow you to shop with less than 50 employees to shop directly with them. You have to use a broker. UPMC would say, okay, you don't need a broker. However, the price you would pay directly from UPMC or a broker are the identical price for that product, that plan. They hope that they can sell you other services.
And one last question to Andy. You're considering videoing. What is that? The microphones you have, there's things having video, if you can't hear the people, you know what I mean?
That's when we check into all this, we'll make sure. I mean, it gets recorded anyway.
Yeah, but the levels of everybody's gonna be so.
But that'll have to all be looked into, because I agree with you, you need the audio and the video, it has to be all together. But, no, I don't have any other business, and I don't think anybody else does on the board, so we're going back to the executive session. And, open meeting, I guess.